Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today's video. Going to have a look at the weather the next 10 to 14 days for the UK and for Northern Europe for today's video. So day 10 will take us to around the 10th of July. We'll be able to send out beyond that with extended GFS and ECM ensembles for around a couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which take us to the latter stages of July. There's been so much chopping and changing in model output over the past few days. Some models going for cooler, wetter, early July weather. Some models going for like an heat wave, early July. It's been an absolute nightmare. Have we firmed up? Have we firmed up today on what's going to happen? You'll find out in a moment as we go through the charts. More about that in a second. Just say that the first video released today was our 7 AM forecast, and we've also released USA forecast today as well, so check out those two videos if you'd like to do that. Please like, share, subscribe on all the videos, drop a comment, let us know what you think. Thank you so much everybody for doing this. I hope you're having a lovely Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in on your Wednesday. Right, let's have a webcam on. Have a look at the CT then. So central temperature is currently standing at 15.7, an anomaly of nearly 1.5 degrees, or just over 1.5 degrees above average. That is provisional to yesterday, to the 29th of June, of course, last day of the month today. So we will find out tomorrow where this comes in. I think we're expecting it to be around 15.5, but as I say, we'll be able to confirm that for you with June's CT tomorrow. GFS, upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking like this one at Sheffield today. So red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Sheffield. We're starting off pretty close to or slightly above average with the upper air temperatures. They're generally staying average to slightly above average through the next couple of weeks, really. The dates are on the bottom of the chart. Through here at the bottom of the graph. There are one or two hot outliers, particularly this gold ensemble member just here, which is clearly an outrageous outlier. Most of the ensemble members aren't going as hot as that. In fact, generally it just looks like the upper air temperatures, certainly for the next week, 10 days, are going to be hovering very close to or slightly above average. What you can see, though, is that it's turning more unsettled. So the next 2 or 3 days are relatively dry, but over the weekend into next week have quite a lot of precipitation going on there, big rainfall spikes. And so if the upper air temperatures are only slightly above average, if it's like pouring with rain and there's overcast skies, then that's going to mean that on the surface it's actually quite cool. So next week could now be shaping up to be quite a cool and unsettled week, as far as the GFS ensembles are concerned anyway. And that possibly goes on even into the second week of the month, although that is a little bit more speculative, of course. Temperature anomalies confirm this really from the 30th of June to the 8th of July. They're a bit cooler than average for England and Wales. Still a little bit above average for Scotland, but even there beginning to come down quite a bit. Overall, it does look like next week could be quite cool. Now, to be honest, precipitation anomalies are also looking wetter than average from the 30th of June to the 8th of July. This is based on that GFS midnight run, by the way. So, yeah, rather cooler and more unsettled next week. The latest info map from earth.nullschool.net shows that we've got light and variable winds today with a ridge of high pressure, but there is quite a lot of low pressure, you'll notice, in the Atlantic. All of these circulations just here are areas of low pressure and weather fronts, weather systems. And they're a long way from us at the moment, but they may well start edging our way as we move into the weekend. So let's go through the generic charts then, and we'll see what's happened with them. Have we firmed up for next week? Let's have a look. We're going to start off with the UK Met from the weather outlook. So we're beginning at midnight on Saturday. Low pressure is gathering in the Atlantic and starting to move our way through the weekend and into the early part of next week. In comes the lows. Look at this. This is Monday under an area of low pressure then. So obviously that will be quite cool and unsettled. And then that low pressure continues to stick around the country as we go through to the middle of next week, as far as we get to with UK Met is to midnight on Wednesday, 7th of July. And we're under low pressure then with showers and longer spells, rain rotating around that low. Pretty cool as well. We are trying to raise high speed in the Atlantic, trying to generate a ridge. However, downstream, there is more low pressure coming out of Newfoundland. So I suspect that could be setting up, quite a unsettled spell of weather, perhaps. Right, let's have a look at GFS midnight run then. So again, on Saturday, low pressure is coming in off the Atlantic. It's taking its time, but through weekend into the part of next week, it turns more and more unsettled. So by Tuesday next week, 6th of July, we are under an area of low pressure. There'll be showers along the spells of rain rotating around that low pressure, and it will be cool as well. Temperatures will take a tumble, even if the upper air temperatures holding up not too bad, with showers along the spells of rain, quite strong winds as well around that low. It will be quite cool. Into the middle of next week, we keep that low sitting over the country. There'll be further showers, if not long spells of rain, with that as well, and that takes us up to day 10, which is the 10th of July, under that area of low pressure. Yes, we can expect an unsettled outlook, you know, up to day 10 with showers and spells of rain there. In the more extended range, just unsettled, you know, low pressure continues to head in from off the Atlantic, really. So all the way up to the 16th of July, so just getting into the second half of the month now with the extended GFS, it looks unsettled. Low pressure is in control. Eastern Europe look quite hot with these southerly winds, but for us in the west and the northwest, the pattern is broken, and it's quite a prolonged and protracted unsettled spell that the GFS midnight run sets up there. The 6Z looks like this. Again, low pressure beginning to meander in off the Atlantic through Saturday. It takes its time, but eventually, you know, it gets a move on. So by Monday, we are under low pressure with showers and longer spells of rain, and these unsettled conditions carry on through the first half into the middle part of next week again. The low pressure is in control of the weather, so plenty of showers and longer spells of rain, and we keep it pretty unsettled really all the way up towards day 10. Although by day 10 we are beginning to raise the heights a little bit to our north and northwest, so that's starting to dry out a bit by day 10, but even then still quite showery, and winds in from like a northeast direction, so probably quite cool as well. In more extended range of the 6, it's not as bad as the midnight run. We get this ridge building in from the Azores. It's not a particularly hot spell that's setting up there, but it is a little bit drier and warmer, particularly compared to what the midnight GFS run was doing. We finish up, perhaps beginning to pull the heights away from us though by the end of the GFS 6Z, and low pressure starting to strengthen to the north of Scotland. So that's a little bit drier and warmer once we get like next week out of the way, but certainly nothing to get all that excited about. Right, so that's the UK Met and the GFS showing unsettled and rather cool weather for next week. Let's see what the GM is doing. If you're enjoying this video, please can you smash your like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Tell friends and family to subscribe as well, and drop a comment and let us know what you think about all of this. Right, so Saturday, low pressure again is coming in off the Atlantic. We'll bring showers, long spells of rain, and then this low pressure probably moving through into the early part of next week. So by Tuesday, for example, we are under that area of low pressure, and we're looking cool and unsettled by that point. There'll be plenty of rain in with that as well. And into the second half of next week, the GM keeps the unsettled weather going. We try to raise the heights a little bit to our south-southeast. Doesn't really come to much as this next low sort of pushes in. So by day 10, which is Saturday the 10th of July, again, we're under low pressure. We're cool, showery, and unsettled. So the GM, you know, sticks to the theme. To be honest, the GM has been the most consistent of all of the models over the past few days, with this first half of July shaping up to be quite cool and unsettled. I don't think the GM has ever really gone for like a hot spell of weather through the first half of July. It's always looked quite cool and unsettled for the first week, 10 days of July with the GM. And it continues with that today. So that's the UK Met, the GFS and the GM are looking cooler and unsettled next week. What about the ECM? This was going the hot weather next week, yesterday. You'll remember what's the ECM doing? Is it coming to line with the other miles? Let's have a look. So Saturday, low pressure again is out in the Atlantic. That begins to push in through Sunday into Monday. So we begin next week on an unsettled note with low pressure in off the Atlantic, bringing showers or long spells of rain under low pressure. Not as deep as all of the other models, I have to say, with the low for the early part of next week. So it's not as windy, but it is still cool and unsettled and showery. Middle of next week, we are attempting to raise the heights a little bit to our southwest, although there is low pressure to the west of Ireland. So the second half of next week, the ECM does start to raise the heights again over and to the east of the country. So Yes, the ECM has come into light in terms of the early part of next week being unsettled and quite cool. But the second half of next week, the ECM still wants to pull up these hot southerly, southeasterly winds. And actually looks very, very thundery and volatile, I have to say, by day 10, which is Saturday the 10th of July. The ECM looks pretty thundery, with high pressure to the north of Scotland, low pressure to our southwest. We're drawing in what would be a hot sort of southeasterly wind. Here comes the upper air temperatures, showing the heat pushing up from France. So the ECM does, turn hot in days 8, 9 and 10, but would be thundery and volatile. However, it looks very, very different to all of the other model output, I have to say. And I'm not sure the ECM is performing that well. None of the models are performing that well, other than the GM, really. I don't think any model has covered itself in glory over the past few days, to say the least, except perhaps the GM, the Canadian model, which always used to be like a joke model back in the day, but had an upgrade a couple of years ago, and it's a much better model now, and that's the one that's been very consistent. Let's have a look at the precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. So again, loads of dry weather over the next few days. There will be showers coming and going, but plenty of dry weather till the weekend. But over the weekend, of course, it starts to get more unsettled. And into the early part of next week, heavy showers, long spells of rain, possibly thunder mixed in with all of that wet weather as well. And that carries on into the middle of next week. This time next week. Loads of heavy showers, if not longer spells of rain across the country. Begin to dry out a little bit as we move up towards day 10, and we start to pull up that heat from the south. Although by day 10 itself, heavy rain or thunderstorms potentially in the south and southwest, threatening a proper old thundery spell of weather by then. Right, so let's just turn the webcam off and have a look at the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. So these are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles for day 10, which gets us to the 10th of July via the Icelandic Met Ops. We have 22 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure ridging to our north and northwest, low pressure is to our east, and winds are coming in from like a northerly or northeasterly direction, looking pretty cool and showery at day 10 with that option. 16 just here, which does include the operational run, have the ridge of high pressure over Scandinavia and to the north of the country, perhaps some lower pressure trying to come in from the southwest. And of course, we're drawing in the wind from the east to southeast with that. So that's the hot option, of course, and there's 16 including the operational run doing that. And they have 13 just here with high pressure blocking in the north latitudes around Greenland. This looks like some sort of trough through here, and so I think that is a cooler and more unsettled option as well. So putting together the 22 that we have there with the 13 there, it looks like the ECM ensembles are relatively cool and unsettled at day 10. There is the minority option, which does include the operational run that looks hotter and more volatile, but again, I think we probably on balance have to go with the cooler and more unsettled option. In 2 weeks' time, this is the option that we've got, and it will get us to the 15th of July. So 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles have a ridge of high pressure through the country and extending northwards as well. There's probably a trough around here. And so that'll be trying to draw in drier and hotter or warmer weather anyway from the south. But again, I'm not sure how well the ECM is performing at the moment. Finally, the CFS-V2, these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first week period is going to take us from the 30th of June to the 6th of July. The coming week will have high pressure to the north, low pressure will be around here, trying to come up from the south. Generally a lot of dry weather around in the week ahead, and pretty warm as well, at least initially. But week 2 will take us from the 7th through to the 13th of July. This is quite a change on what the CFS has been showing. The centre, so it's still a lot of above average heights around, you'll notice. There's still a lot of high pressure around, but the centre is being pushed back quite a long way eastwards from us. And we've got this white area opening up just here, which the CFS doesn't want to do it, and it'll have to be dragged kicking and screaming to it. But I reckon that's going to be a trough of low pressure, actually. So I think the CFS is beginning to shift as well, after being so consistent with like a prolonged anticyclonic outlook through the first half of July. I think the CFS is also starting to shift there in week 2 to something more unsettled and cooler. Week 3 is going to be the 14th to the 20th of July, with above average heights then centering to our west. So that probably leaves us relatively dry, but pulling in a coolish sort of northwesterly type flow, maybe northerly. And then week 4 is going to be the 21st, 27th of July, with above average heights to our north. And around that, we're probably starting to bring through like a northerly, northeasterly. So relatively dry, but it is moving a bit on the position of the ridge of the high and centering it more towards the north-northwest, which is a cooler wind direction, or would lead to a cooler wind direction, as around the high we bring the wind in from like a north or northeasterly direction. So it all remains to be seen. It's all to be revealed, but certainly next week, I think the model output, including the ECM, has moved today towards a cooler and more unsettled outlook. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. If you sub, you'll be able to see future weather content. Tell your friends, family, everybody else to subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone. And drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. So, yeah, I think we're looking at a more unsettled and cooler week next week. How long that goes on for remains to be seen, of course. But I think there has been it started yesterday. It was clear yesterday, I think, but a shift was taking place within the model output, something cooler and more unsettled. Though the ECM is trying desperately, as hard as it can, to bring some hot weather to us in days sort of 8, 9, and 10, I think we have to take that with a large bucket full of salt, really. I think next week is probably shaping up to be quite a cool and unsettled week. So there we go. We'll see, though, how it plays out. We may get one final twist in the tail, but I definitely think that's the way that model output has moved over the past sort of day or so. Right, that's it for your videos for today. Tomorrow we're going to have a European outlook, and we'll have a 10 to 14 day for you as well. So check out all of the videos tomorrow. For this one, that's all for now. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and thanks for watching.